In this March of 2021, we look at who are the shadow government. And so, the time of the Great Awakening moves on, and from what we see happening around us, we are still in the throes of the shadow government, deep state control. What is the deep state, the shadow government, the dark cabal, the Illuminati? There are so many names for this hitherto elusive body, this body of control that has hidden itself deep within the recesses of our earthly environment, that has imbued itself into every phase, every particle of our life, of our governance, and controls our environment and our daily lives. Why is it that we have this control? Why is the environment we live in so cruel and heartless? Imagine an energy of love, so powerful that it was bursting with excitement, with the anticipation of knowing itself. It was bursting with this desire to know itself, to explore to the depths of its understanding the nature of its magnificent beingness. And so the energy burst forth in what is called the Big Bang. From that explosion, the material realm was created. All the solar systems, all the suns, the planets, all the rocks, water, mountains, oceans, all plant life, all the birds of the air and creatures of the sea and land were created. God, source energy, the divine, our creator, wanted to know himself, and so he split off billions, trillions of fragments of himself, and so created the world we know. We live in only an infinitesimally small part of the universe he created, and yet we are equal to all in our greatness, for every fragment of God, every particle of divine essence, fish or fowl, plant or human, is an essential part of divine beingness and equal as a fragment of the divine, regardless of the form it takes. So there is nothing outside God, nothing outside the divine creation. All that we see, all that we experience, is a part of divinity and a part of God's plan to know himself. Our God loves knowledge, knowledge of himself, a knowledge of all that he is, a knowledge of all that he can be. For in the seed, in the oak tree acorn, is the potential of a magnificent tree. God wanted to know the nature of that tree that was himself. What was he? What could he be? What was his potential? How was God to know himself in all his parts, in all the cracks and crevices of his divine creation? To find out, he sent sentient parts of himself out into the universe he had created. Parts of himself that were conscious and aware of themselves and their surroundings. Parts of himself that were able to perceive and know and feel and understand their environment. Parts of himself that were able to explore the very minutest details of the structure that the divine, that Source, had created. We, dear hearts, dear souls, are those aware, conscious, sentient beings. We are divine souls in human body temples, and we are very great, powerful, multidimensional beings. We are fragments of God. What does it mean to be multidimensional? It means that God's material realm has many frequencies. God's material realm is a vibrating energy world. It is sourced and powered by the electromagnetic energy of its creator. Love, love, love is the divine electromagnetic energy that powers this world. Love is the infrastructure that supports this world. Love is the divine energy that imbues and permeates every part of the universe, every particle of creation. God is love. Love is God. Each dimension of universal creation, each frequency is sourced by love. The higher dimensional frequencies, though, carry higher levels of love. The lower dimensions are heavier, foggy, with low visibility, for they allow less love to circulate in their denseness and heaviness. It is often said that love is all there is. And in the divine world, in the spirit realm beyond the veil, love is all there is. A feeling of immeasurable love, of joy, peace and gratitude, of wisdom, discernment, all-knowingness, communion and camaraderie is what heaven holds. Love is God's gift to his holy children, to the particles of himself that he created. And yet, with his great and immutable yearning for knowledge, the yearning to know himself, God also created the opposite of love. In his divinity, in his perfection, he could not see all possibilities. He needed contrast to truly know himself. To truly know his potential, he needed to explore what was not. And so was created the opposite of love, fear. You do not know what white is until you have seen black. You do not know the wonder of love until you have felt the darkness of fear. Fear does not exist beyond the veil of forgetfulness. Fear is heavy. Fear is dense. Fear wishes to destroy love and take over the world, take over the universe, kill its enemies, and eventually kill itself. Fear does not support life. And yet, fear provides the contrast against which sentient beings, we humans, can struggle to find themselves, can sift and sort experiences and emotions they prefer and what they don't prefer, and thereby individuate themselves into unique and distinctive personalities with distinctive talents, preferences, and abilities. Sift and sort themselves into knowing, conscious and aware beings who eventually, with the knowledge that they acquire from the contrast that they experience through life in the material realm, will become gods, like unto God. For with this process, God is creating gods like unto himself. And who was to provide this fear? We are told that we are sinful, inherently cruel and unkind. We are told that we fell from God's grace because of our inherent unworthiness and were sent to earth to suffer. Not so. God created fear, sin, unloving thoughts and behavior on earth for a divine purpose, that parts of himself, through the discomfort of experiencing fear, could come to know who they truly were, could realize their potential. And so came into being our shadow government, the Illuminati, the deep state, the dark cabal. Humans are not the only beings in the material realm. There are millions of extraterrestrial beings of different types, different shapes, and different frequencies. The Draco-reptilians are one of these low-vibrating entities. They are dark and unloving. They are a part of God, but they were created at a low frequency of love vibration to provide the contrast through which we could grow ourselves. And so these galactic beings also were sent to Earth. They were of a different frequency from mankind. They were higher in understanding of how man's psychology worked, yet they were given no heart, no compassion, no love flowing through their veins. Their objective and aim was to control mankind. They were given feelings of superiority, feelings that mankind was ignorant and worthless. Mankind was created for them to manipulate and maneuver as they saw fit. And they were so created that they fed off mankind. Mankind's fear was their food. And so they have done all they could through the eons of time that they have wrestled against mankind to induce fear, to create terror, to take the humane out of humanity and the kind out of mankind. And as divinely intended, mankind squirmed and struggled under their tutelage, under their control. Oh, indeed, such deep and dark fear was felt. Humanity twisted and turned under the rules and regulations, the cognitive dissonance of his existence under Illuminati control. All the injustice we have lived under, all the crowned heads and politicians, All the fake news we receive, every difficult detail of our life has been controlled by the Illuminati. And we have had a struggle indeed. And this struggle has been a great gift, for we have truly grown to know the wonder, the greatness, the absolute bliss of love that is our inheritance. And we have come to know this from experiencing the contrast of fear. So, in order to make the experience of this low density of fear possible, Earth was created at a very low frequency, a frequency that could not carry the love vibration, a frequency where cruelty and torture could flourish. This universe is a matrix. Planets flow through the universal continuum as they pass through a variety of alignments. The Earth's 25,000-year circuit through the universe is called the precession of the equinox. And we have reached the place in the precession where we are moving up in frequency. And so it is time to remove the shadow government. It is time to remove the control of the Illuminati, of our fearsome galactic brethren. Yes, it is time to return to love. Many of us have experienced all we needed to realize our potential. Yet our control has been so dark that we have become stuck on the wheel of karma, the wheel of divine retribution in this earthly life. Divine retribution, the karma that we created for ourselves. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, for else you will suffer the dark emotions you gave them to feel. And so, the low third-dimensional frequency is being dissolved. We are at the great awakening of mankind. God created humans with no memory of their divinity, that we might struggle as mortals against fear. Our memory is coming back. Our knowledge of our divinity is being restored. Be of good cheer, dear Lightworkers, our precious starseeds. It may seem that the dark has won. It certainly seems so in this March of 2021, that the dark has control over the world. No, indeed, all is well. This is the time of a return to love. All the waiting, all the worry, all the confusion and confabulation are a necessary part of our ascension. For we, as the divine beings that we are, must release all before we ascend. The dark dealings of the shadow government are being revealed to mankind. This time of waiting is necessary to move us on and up in vibration, and our ascension is inevitable. The removal of the Illuminati is an inexorable process, impossible to stop, for God has decreed it to be so. Life is good, dear friends, and getting better, for the best is yet to come. Yes, the best is yet to come. That was Aita, channeling her higher self. We are blessed beings, indeed.